Hello everyone. Today I talk about tips of CakePHP-Mongo. Let me introduce myself a little bit. He's my son. I am Yasushi Ichikawa. Please call me Ichi. This is my Twitter account and blog URL. So cute, right? Yeah, here's today's topics. At first, short introduction of MongoDB. Maybe it's 5 minutes. Okay, MongoDB is a NoSQL, schema-free, document-oriented database, and it provides good performance rewrites so fast and good scalability. And it's good for social apps or need performance or big data calculation on distributed servers like log analysis. And schema-free is good for questionnaire forms or something like that. Okay, sometimes are different from RDBs. Table is collection, row is document, column is field. Okay. What is schema-free? Schema, for example, here is a post collection. Post table has different 3 records. 3 documents. Each document has different field, different schema. Or here is a blog screen, a blog page on the browser screen. So we can store the data as we see. Tags and the comment has array data. So we don't have to normalize the data table. MongoDB has some operators, like find operators is like greater than, less than, something like that. Okay, how to find data from post table? It's age greater than 5, so it's easy to understand. And also has update operators, like increment, set, and so on. And first parameter of the update method is condition. Second is update data. Increment config. And MongoDB has many functions like geospatial index. It used by Foursquare. Or MapReduce is gathering and calculate big data on distributed servers. And we can store a file in MongoDB server. It's called GroupBy, and sharding is a table separation, and so on. Okay, finished. Okay, let me show you some. Let me show you the website. My website using Cake and Mongo. So this website for Japanese. Sorry. So this site we can make Japanese URL as we want. And here is an example. Here is a Japanese URL. And after access this site, so this site count up automatically and shows how many people interested in the URL. And I use one VPS server. And this application has many update write access. And 40% write access, 60% read access. And now this site has 300,000 documents. So peak traffic was 100,000 requests per day. It's a Google Analytics based, and it used 75% CPU resource, but MongoDB used under 10% CPU resource. Okay, the finish of the short introduction. Next is how to use MongoDB with Cake. Here is a repository. So this repository has some files, test files, and API documents, and many sample source code. These are good information to develop. The Cake-Mongo data source supports PHP 5 and Cake 1.2 and 1.3 and 2.0 beta. Now it needs a CakeMongo driver provided by Tengen, MongoDB company. So there are some documents on the wiki of GitHub. So this figure shows the structure of getting data. So green one is cake part. Blue box is CakeMongo drivers part. So at first, the model calls CakePHP-MongoDB data source. Then the data source connect to a MongoDB server with MongoDB class. So then select the Mongo collection, Mongo table. Finally, fetching data from Mongo cursor class. Okay, how to set up? So at first, install the CakeMongo. So and edit the php.in file and reboot a patch or something like that. Okay, how to use with Cake 1.3? At first, change directory to plugin folders. Then git clone, and the folder name is MongoDB. And edit database.php. Like this, use driver key equal MongoDB source. It's easy. And how about Cake 2.0? At first, go to plugin folder. So red character shows differ from 1.3. Then git clone and change the Cake 2.0 branch of the data source. Then edit database.php. Use a data source key. But Cake 2.0, we have to call Cake plugin load in the bootstrap. Don't forget. Okay. Here is a sample model. It's same as I set underbar ID on primary key because MongoDB uses underbar ID for primary key name. Okay, how to use it? Find data. It's the same way as RDB with Cake. It's benefit of data source of Cake. So we can use same option like field condition order limit. And insert data, so here the same way as RDBs. But after saving, so MongoDB set the ID field automatically. The update data have to have the ID field and after save. But in Cake data source, CakeMongo data source sets dataset operator automatically because without dataset, so MongoDB deletes an update field, so we have to set the dataset operator. So how to use other update operators? It's easy. Set a Mongo operator in a key of array. So here, this example is increment age field. And in the data source, so it uses $inc Mongo operator instead of $set. So after updating, so age field becomes 33. It's very easy. And more complex one, use increment age field and save array data in tags field. So after saving, so age field becomes 33, and the tags field has array data. So it's very easy to use. And there are some update operators and how to use it. So more detail, please see wiki or test code. There are many examples. Okay, move on. Next is get CakeMongo data source object. Why? Because this data source has some methods like ensure index, making index, or MapReduce method, or group. Group is similar as GroupBy of RDB. Okay, at first, call get data source method. This method returns the data source instance. So after that, we can use the data source method. So this example calls ensure index to create index. Okay, get MongoDB object, because this data source doesn't support all functions of MongoDB, like GreetFS or dbref or something like that. So if you want to use these functions, need to use MongoDB object. How to get that? It calls get MongoDB method. This method returns a MongoDB class instance. Then you can call MongoDB class method like this. And more details, see PHP manual of MongoDB class. Okay, next is get Mongo collection object. It's at first get a MongoDB class object, and then call a select collection method. The parameter is collection name, and returns a Mongo collection instance. Then can use find or update or insert method. Okay, next is replica set. It's a very great and awesome system. I like. Replica set is a master thread replication and automatic failover and recovery. It's provided by MongoDB server. This figure shows server 1, 2, 3 is a MongoDB server. Server 1 is a primary. 2 and 3 are secondary. Primary replicates data to secondary. And CakePHP running on the application server. And CakePHP connect to the primary server. After down the primary server, so server 2 becomes primary server automatically, and application server CakePHP can connect to primary server, new primary server automatically. It's very easy to use. How to use it? It's need a set replica set key in database.php. So host field need a login ID password is optional. We have to write all server server names and port. And the options is replica set option is set replica set and replica set name. That's all. Yeah. Yes. At first, maybe connect to this server. Returns primary or not. So next search this server. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Next to the next topic is security. Unfortunately, there is an injection attack in MongoDB. It affects only PHP. Why? So here is an example. It's an ugly code, but this code finds user data with username and password field condition. But PHP makes array data from user input, like this is a get request. Attacker sets a username equal admin password not equal 1. Then PHP makes array and set here. So this request makes a password not equal 1. So attacker can set the Mongo operator from the request by request. That's a reason only PHP matter. Okay, solution. Of course, don't trust user input data. There are two solutions. One is a cast to string. Another is a check all keys of array. Okay. At first, let me explain cast to string. It's very easy. So set a string. Then PHP makes array data to string data. But this way, we always have to care about cast to string. So I recommend to check keys of input data. So I use the CakePHP library. So I made it half years ago. Yeah, I made it for check null byte input data, but it's used for MongoDB injection, because CakePHP library checks user input data and check all array keys. It only allows these characters, doesn't allow data character, and also check null byte of all user input data. Okay, here is a usage. So edit webroot index.php and require bootstrap.php of a secure PHP library before dispatcher, because the cake dispatcher sets user input data to this data property or this params property. Okay. Last topics. In the future, so I will release relational data fetching, like has many drones do. Now I'm developing it on a relation branch of GitHub. It works well, but it doesn't support condition of all model. Okay. Today I talk about what's MongoDB and how to use it with Cake, and then explained about injection attack and how to detect it. And finally, I told about relational data fetching system. Thank you very much. It's yes, only Mongo and PHP. It's MongoDB can use sorry. Here is I use for atomic countup. We can use atomic countup with MongoDB, so it's easy using a data inc MongoDB property. And I sometimes worry about this site was a little bit booming after March 11th big earthquake 3 or 4 days ago, because it means iPad. I want to have iPad too. This Japanese means. So many people, after earthquake, many people make a wish and make their URL like. I hope the recovery from earthquake or something like that. So it was a little bit booming. So, and I select Mongo for this site. Many write access. So I wanted to avoid use RDB.
What do you not recommend to use Mongo?
Well, not recommend. It's if you like RDB. Or well, yeah, RDB. Mongo doesn't have join systems or transaction or something like that. If you deal with some money transaction, so I don't recommend to use Mongo. So.
These datasource, you recommend using sub-documents a lot.
Yeah.
When I was using them, I seemed to run into problems with relating the items in the sub-documents to other models, and then having to load other models using pieces array, which is obviously not recommended.
Well, both is okay, because people of Tengen, MongoDB company, recommend both schema. But well, subdocuments only has a limit of one document has only 16 megabytes, but above MongoDB 1.8, but MongoDB 1.6, yeah, 4 megabytes there. It depends on the saving data size. But relational fetching system, I will use separate collection and join the data in the data source. I will make it.
You think you don't recommend using Mongo for long transactions, but would you recommend it for creating a card system like e-commerce?
Yeah,
You would?
I don't recommend it. But the case, many part of covers MongoDB, but payment part, RDB should, I recommend use RDB, only payment part.
First of all, would you recommend using Mongo for search at all? And if so, how would you best implement it?
Best implemented what?
Full text type search.
Full text search. Yeah, the moment Tengen people recommend the separate the space and set each word in one field as array and search it. But it's a little bit old. Maybe MongoDB 2.0 or above. Maybe they support full text search in a document or document. Anything else?
How well does Mongo work with datasets that's larger than the memory of the source?
Well, yeah, need much memory because yeah.
It's all stored in memory at one time. Just
No, no. It's yeah. So read from memory or cache of OS, but write is at first in memory. Then MongoDB writes disk. It's duration time. It depends on the configuration. Yeah, default is 1 minute. MongoDB is fire and forget. So at first save method and returns a success record, but there's still only in memory. After 1 minute, MongoDB writes disk, right on disk. It's a configuration.
so you would recommend running a 3 gigabyte dataset on the 1.5 gigabyte of memory.
Ah,
I mean, how much performance loss would you have if the dataset is larger than the memory of the server?
data is not so big because now it covers only 1.5 gigabyte memory.
The only thing that you should be concerned of is the data input to your collection fit
If data over the memory size, it becomes so slow. It's occur of the problem of Foursquare. The Foursquare half years ago, and down one day or something like that. And it had a problem of over memory.
I think it's worth pointing out though that you're implying that you can only use data that's the size of your memory, and that's not true. It's the in-memory map that Mongo uses. It's just storing the most frequent queries. If your data size is bigger than that, it's going to look at the data.
Yeah, I'm not implying anything, I'm just asking if it's possible. Don't lose it. Because I have a project that will currently store like 50 gigabytes of data in Mongo, but I'm not really interested in trying to keep the server.
You don't need to worry about that necessarily. You would not eliminate Mongo because you have less memory than the size of the data.
Yes.
It's not an in-memory store. It's only using memory where it's possible to speed up the most frequent process.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Mark talk. Yeah. Thank you very much.